The rules have changed and you're allowed to have these summer workouts. What kind of early impressions do you have of your team?
You know, we're blessed to have those, you know, when you consider that, you know, we got a whole new staff. And, you know, Matt and I have a lot of the same values, but, you know, it's a big advantage. The past programs I've taken over, you know, you met them October 15th for the first time, but they try hard, they listen. You know, we have 3 real good transfers that we're excited about, and I think because of that, our practices are going to be more competitive than I would have thought.
Is it possible to quantify how much farther ahead you'll be when the official practices start by the benefit of having these summer workouts?
Well, we'll be further ahead than I expected, but we'll be way behind the people we have to play. You know, we tried to change the schedule a little bit. We're playing a lot of quality teams, I think, early. And then the season starts so early. I didn't realize. You know, I think we open up on the 11th of November. When I was a college coach before, you had 6 full weeks. They probably got tired of me by then, but, you know, from my perspective, you know, I didn't even think that was enough. So this is going to be a challenge for us.
Is the non-conference schedule something that you wanted to do, or is that something you've always had in terms of which paths teams seem to take?
Yeah, but when we got the job, we only had one non-conference game scheduled at TCU. I called everybody. You know, at first when I was out recruiting, people were tackling me wanting to play us. That made me a little nervous, but you know, we try to play some really good teams, and we're going to try to play the best team in the future. And hopefully we're good enough. I think when you go into the Big East, it'll be easy to schedule good teams because you're a Big East team, your RPI is going to be better and won't be impacted. So I'm hopeful that we can play some of the better programs around here because there's certainly, you know, Texas and Baylor and A&M, you know, TCU, there's a lot of great programs here. So we want to play them all if we can.
You said at first they were sort of tackling you wanted to play. Did that change at some point over the summer? Did you see people avoiding you?
No, not really. You know, but again, when you're in Conference USA, it hurts some of the better teams, RPIs, to play you. But once we go into the Big East, when we're playing 18 Big East games or whatever it is, you know, I think they won't be as hesitant. But I'm hopeful, you know, I'm hopeful we can play great regional teams. We won't play Kansas unless it's a tournament, or Kentucky or Maryland or Colorado. You know, they're all my guys, but you know, hopefully we can meet them. I know they'll be in the tournament. Hopefully someday we can meet them there. That would be our goal.
Who's been impressive to you in practice in these early workouts?
Anyone
farther
like
along development-wise?
Coach Smith would get mad at me if I singled anybody out. So
No, he's not.
I mean, I'm just happy with the attitude. You know, Matt did a wonderful job of bringing good guys in here. You know, we got kids that want to get better, and that's been real positive. And then I have a great staff. You know, I think the kids look forward to being around our coaches. They know guys are going to care about them and try to coach them up and make them better. So that's been a real positive thing for all of us.
You mentioned the transfers who are here, who are making your practices better. Have you had teams in the past with a big transfer impact like that? Guys who have to sit and wait for a year but impact you on the practice floor?
No, not really. I've kept kids, I've redshirted kids. You know, the year we won the national championship, we got down to 9 players because of injuries and some crazy stuff. So we got guys off the football team. But I had 2 red shirts. So the football players made our practices better, and the red shirts helped. This is unique because the transfers we have are going to be ready to play when we go in the Big East. And that's a real important thing. And then hopefully we're going to have a good recruiting class. There's some phenomenal players that I saw, this summer that are around here in this state. We just got to make kids understand we're going to be pretty special someday and want to be part of that. But they have great alternatives around here. There's some great programs. I understand that. But, we have a lot to offer here. If we can get a good class this year and with our transfers, it'll be pretty special pretty quick.
One of the cuts you made was that point guard over the spring. Do you have?
I didn't make any cuts.
Well, as far as
if you look around, any new coach going in, kids leave the program.
Sure.
I didn't want us to over recruit them and have kids start as freshmen and then all of a sudden not play. And I didn't think that was fair. So we lost kids, but I checked every program that has a new coach. I checked. That's the norm. Kids deserve the opportunity to play. But I don't know what we have in terms of point guards, big guards, centers. Right now we're just teaching them to play, and then we'll kind of figure it out. I know one thing: we won't have a lot of depth. And the challenge is to keep our players on the court. And we might have to play a style that's different than we'll play next year or the following year. Keep us in games, but that's always fun.
At the press conference when you were hired, you said we're going to play man defense and we're going to pick them up at the airport. If you don't have that depth, does that change that approach defensively?
Well, I didn't say when I do that. But that's my goal. That's how I was taught. So, but everywhere I've been, we've taken over new programs, whether it's pro or college. And, you wouldn't be there if things were so successful. So the initial thing is you got to figure out how you can stay in games and give your team a chance to win. But ultimately, you got to get kids that can play the way you feel comfortable teaching. And if Coach Smith saw me play zone and walk the ball up the court, I'd get a phone call or a text message real quick. But I think you got to be realistic, and he understands that. But next year, I guarantee you we'll be doing what we all feel comfortable teaching. This year, I'm hopeful, but we will be building for that every day and every practice.
You mentioned it.
How much does that help?
Oh, that's huge. There's so many phenomenal programs and coaches and players in the Big East. Great places to play. I think it's been amazing. Not that Conference USA doesn't have some really good programs, but when you look at college basketball, year in and year out, the Big East is as good as any. Maybe one year the Big Ten or Pac-12, whatever it is, or the ACC. But the Big East is always mentioned as one of the premier leagues, and that kids want to play the best. And then we have a great school. We're in Dallas. We're only Division I school in Dallas. If we ever get good, we're going to play in American Airlines. That's our hope. But being in the Big East, when we mention SMU, when we tell them that's the conference we're going to be in, it's made a huge impact.
How much have you been able to watch film on Conference USA opponents, or has it just been really about teaching kids?
Oh no, I'm a big fan. When John Calipari was at Memphis, I spent a lot of time there. I'm a big basketball fan. I watch other people play all the time. Larry Stacey's close to me. Jeff Lebo's close. So I'm aware. I think it's a pretty underrated conference. We were 4-12 last year. I guess next to last. So obviously we got a lot of ground to cover. Get better, but I'm excited about that. But the most important thing is we just got to make our players better.
You mentioned when you were at Kansas, you borrowed some football players. Should June Jones be nervous that you're going to snag some of his guys?
Oh, he's not nervous. He offered. You know, one of the things that scared me when, you know, he's the reason I'm here, really. He kept pushing me to stay in the fight. But I admire the hell out of him. But I spoke to his team, and he said, I can pick 5 of my guys, and they'll beat any 5 of your guys. I hope he was kidding. But, you know, depending on how deep we are, you know, I don't think June doesn't have a problem with a football player playing for us, and I don't either. You know, the way he plays, the way he spreads it out and shoots, it's just like basketball.
How much have you enjoyed being back in college and working with the young athletes?
I mean, I love to coach and teach. I'm not so crazy about games. You know, and you know, as a pro coach, I tried to coach and teach, but, you know, being in an environment, a college environment around kids, it's phenomenal. And then, you know, I think you feel like you can help young kids get better. They all want to be in the NBA. I don't care who you recruit. Every one of the kids that we talk to thinks they're one and done. You know, but I like practice. I like being around young people that want to get better. I like being in an environment like this. I can't wait till Saturday. I'm gonna go to Waco, and I'm gonna leave early. I went to a soccer game the other night. I plan on getting involved with the students and everything around SMU. That to me is special. That's why I love Kansas doing that. I loved it at UCLA and North Carolina, and hopefully, you know, it's going to be the same thing here.
What about the recruiting aspect of being in college? I mean, do you like going out there on the road and watching those games?
Oh, well, that's, you know, I love watching games. I love watching kids play. I'm not excited about, you know, getting on the phone and text messaging kids, and they even got me with a Twitter or tweet or whatever that is. You know, I don't want to bother the kids and their families, but you got to do it. You got to tell them that you care about them and want them. When they come in and visit me and I meet face to face with them and their families, I love it because we got so much to sell. But I think the choices these kids have to make is, I don't want to make the choices difficult. You know, I'm hopeful that they'll see good things about our program and want to be here for the right reasons. Because selfishly, I think I can help them, you know, based on my background and who I played for and who I had to coach. And then I just think this environment's unbelievable. So selling SMU's pretty easy.
You mentioned the day that you were hired, you made a reference to the famous Allen Iverson quote about practice, and you looked at your players and said, you guys do know what that is, don't you? How often have your players brought up other quotes or famous incidents from your pro career, or even stuff they found from your Kansas days or UCLA days?
I mean, you know, everybody identifies with me with Allen, and I'm proud of that. I love Allen. I mean, I went to one arena and I saw 50 kids wearing number 3, you know, with their hair braided. Everywhere I go, you know, the last 2 years when I used to go watch college kids play and practice, they all wanted to know about them. But I get to talk about a lot of players that I coach that kids are aware of, which is fun. And they all, like I said, they all want to be in the NBA, and they know I've been there. And they all ask me what it takes. You know, and I try to make them understand you got to be pretty special to get there. You might as well get a good education, you know, and understand that it doesn't always turn out exactly like you want, but you don't want to kill a dream. But they ask me about a lot of guys, and that's fun. And, you know, I want them all to get to the NBA. That would be great, but, you know, our job is just to make them better and give them an opportunity to get an education. Hopefully this is the place they want to come.
Have you allowed yourself to look forward to, once you're in the Big East and you're getting ready to play Georgetown, do you think Allen will be calling you?
Oh, he'll sit on the bench with me.
Yours or theirs?
I hope Allen's playing. I want him back. I want him back playing. He deserves that. He deserves to go through the NBA one last time and have everybody honor what he's done. I think it's a shame, because what he did and he accomplished and the impact he had on the game, I realize every day, because I can't walk through an airport without somebody. They don't know who I am, my name, but they know I coached Allen. And I love that. But I don't look to the Big East right now, except when we're recruiting, because the kids we're talking to are going to play in that conference. But I just look forward to the next practice, because we got so much to do, so much to work on.